Good evening, everybody. Dark Sage Walker, about to play Binding of Isaac. Last run was a pretty solid run. Let's see if I can make that happen again. There you go, Magdalene. That's beautiful. Alright, who haven't I done a good run with? Well, might as well get Azazel out of the way. Azazel is basically the game's easy mode. You start with Flight, you start with Brimstone, albeit short range. So you have and he starts with advanced speed, so you have damage, you've got mobility, speed, you can dodge. He even starts with a Fool card, so your first curse room is free. This is very much the definition of an overpowered character. I don't really play Azazel that often because of how easy he is, but that's not me necessarily virtue signaling, it just prefer a slightly greater challenge than that. But he does have completion marks, so let's start getting them out of the way. I see you, Tinted Rock. I don't think that you're getting off scot-free. There we go. And I have enough keys that I can make that worth my while. Alright, moving on. Oh, that was awful. Alright. That's a good start. Hagalaz. I'm not sure I have a good place to use that. Oh, hey. And might as well just take the Fool card with me. Actually, let's quick explore. This won't take long. I just want to check that one room I haven't been to, see if there's a use for this. And the answer is not really. That was smart. Sure glad I did that. Yes, I know, that was very stupid, Lulu. Thank you for pointing that out. Couldn't have figured that out without you telling me, buddy. Let's just use it here. What the hell? Alright, we out. The one difficult thing about Azazel is his lack of a ranged option, which means that at times you will take some stupid damage because you don't necessarily have the ability to go to long range. Not without specific pickups anyways. Now, when I was younger and a little bit, I'm not going to say less informed, but when I had a much different opinion about things, I thought that that was the whole thing that made Azazel a challenge character. What you learn with time, eh? Yeah, clearly I don't think that anymore. Like I said, this character is pretty much easy mode, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are things that Azazel is very good at doing. He's a good character to use to try to gather up coins from the donation machine because you have very little need to purchase things as Azazel. He's a good character for going for hard unlocks, such as the Forgotten, which you'll see me do later when I get the option to do it. And it's also generally not too difficult to get to boss rush with Azazel, although your mileage may vary as to whether or not you can actually complete it. And with that item, I'll be able to complete it. So this run just got stupid easy. Stupid easy. Like, I barely even need to look at the screen anymore. Easy. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, with Tammy's head, I basically just get a circle of super death around me. Yeah, I'll take that. It barely even matters. At this point, the game may as well just kind of lay down and start dribbling on the carpet, because there's nothing that it can do to me that will in any way affect my game. Alright, I'll take that. Yeah, Tammy's head plus Azazel is one of the game's almost premier broken combos. If you ever pick up There we go. If you ever pick up Tammy's head playing as Azazel, you've won. Like, I don't think I even need to do anything to qualify that statement. You've just... Oh, and let me show you what... There you go. That's what analog stick does. It lets you essentially fire in any direction. And but the more important point is that it improves your tear rate. So yeah, there we go. Effort. I remember when I had to put that in. Take that. See if you're offering me anything good. Not really, but at this point I can take whatever I want, and the run will be just as easy. So who cares? Well, that's genuinely awful. It's alright. One point of luck won't make a huge difference. Yeah, let's not get too careless. You still have to, complete the run. Alright, well I didn't clear the room, but it honestly doesn't matter. Strength. It's a good card, but I don't think I'm going to take it just yet. What do we have in the shop? Well, I might want that mystery gift, if I can afford it. Now, at the moment, that's a pretty big if, seeing as I'm not finding a lot of money. Well, we'll see. You never know what'll change. The poop. That's what it does. But at least I can say I picked it up for item completion page purposes. Let's move on. And it's very possible that I won't even end up going back to the mystery gift. I know the secret room is here. Come on. Well, now I would be stupid not to go back for it. Except for I'm also trying to get Boss Rush done. Or not really trying, I just feel obligated to do it since I have Tammy's head. That, and I've also kind of built up how overpowered this combination is. I, at this point, feel like if I skip out on Boss Rush, they're going to be like, oh, overpowered, huh? It looks like you might have oversold that. Well, no. I just didn't necessarily feel like doing it. I don't actually remember what Brown Cap does, so I'll take it, but there's a good chance I won't really understand what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure that's contract from below, but I think I'm going to preserve some health. Alright, onwards! I'm not even going to bother with Mystery Gift. Fuck it. It's not important. There's pretty much nothing is important. We're just gonna plow through this run. What is this? 2 of clubs. Alright. I could just joker out of this whole fight, but again, I don't really feel I need to. I can just destroy this entire world right now. Doesn't even make a difference. Nothing matters. So, since I don't really have to put... Oh, that was smart. Since I don't have to put a ton of thought into my run right now, this gives me some time to think about some other things. Actually, you know what? Let's quick pick that up so that it counts towards completion, and then take back the apocalypse. I am a walking apocalypse. It's doomsday for this place. I don't want that. So, here's something I've been thinking about. Octopath Traveler. Yeah, that's right, that little JRPG gem that came out on the Switch last year. Now, personally, I love that game, and it's definitely one of my games of the year. I've also noticed that basically no pundits out there necessarily agree with that. I can kind of see their point. There are plenty of parts of that game that are for lack of a better word, a bit derivative. And I get that. I don't even necessarily disagree with those points. I'm just not sure it's enough to say that it's, you know, not a very good game. I personally really liked a lot of the characters. The scenarios were simple, but for the most part, the game was focused mostly around the stories of characters, not necessarily around a grandiose thing that was going on in the world. You know, I can appreciate that sort of simple narrative. I don't need to spend a lot of time in the shop. How am I doing with my life? Up here. Ancient Recall. Anything good? The Devil. 2 of Spades, which I'll use immediately. Temperance, which... let's use it once. Alright, cool. That didn't really help at all. I'll take my Joker card back. Take that. Let's get out of here. And if I want to make boss rush, I gotta hurry up. There's a lot of not trying I have to do. But I thought the game was really well structured. The emphasis on, for the most part, it's just a series of travelers and their personal struggles. I thought was really endearing. I thought the characters were really fun and well done. Combat, however much of a pain it could occasionally be, I thought was also a high point. Especially with the strong focus. I don't know that's not gonna help. Especially with the strong focus on identifying enemy weaknesses. For those who haven't played the game, basically every enemy has between roughly 2 to 4 weaknesses to just about anything you can throw out between, you know, the usual weak to fire, ice, lightning, whatever tropes, to things like, this enemy doesn't like swords, this enemy doesn't like daggers, that sort of thing. And every time you hit an enemy with their weakness, not only does it do a bit more damage, but it also takes down a... lovely. It also takes down a bit of their shield, which, when is completely depleted, leaves the enemy in a helpless state. This turns most boss battles, anyways, into much more strategic encounters, and I can appreciate that. At some point in the game, the normal encounters start to be more formulaic, let's just say, but it's hard to deny that the bosses and the way that things were done in the game was without any kind of merit. I think the game just deserves more credit than it got. And it did prompt Square Enix to... I'm gonna take this. It did prompt Square Enix to trademark what they call HD 2D, which is their name for the graphical style that the game employs. Which, you know, it's cute. There we go. Oh, come on. Can we stop at this crap now? Thank you. Now, instead of complaining that, oh, the game didn't get as many accolades as I would have liked, how about I instead focus on something a bit more positive? Or maybe not necessarily positive, but a matter of curiosity. For those of you who have played the game, I kind of want to know, who is your favorite character in the game? And I do mean of the 8 main travelers, because, I mean, if we're going to start talking about all the NPCs in the game, that's doing too much. But of the 8 main travelers, who is the character that you liked the most? The one that resonated with you on a slightly higher level than the others. Now, I've been through the game a few... Okay, I guess I can't say a few times. Once, because, like I said, I play a lot of games. And I can kind of go over my feelings on all eight of the main characters, real honestly. What good is temporary flight when I have permanent flight? Whatever, let's just use it just to say I used it. There. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And I suppose I'll go over them in order because, you know, if you're going to start somewhere, may as well be at the beginning. Now, a pattern that I noticed is that each of the characters' names actually correlate with a letter in the title. If I had picked up Mongo Baby after I had picked up another familiar, he would actually copy the firing pattern of the other familiars. So if you're having a run where you're getting a bunch of familiars and you have the option to take Mongo Baby, maybe save that one for later. Try to get yourself something a little bit better. Glad we used 2 of diamonds. Well, whatever. It's not going to hurt to have more red hearts right now. Oh, I should have used the Joker card. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I wasn't, because this run is already too easy. So, since every character's name has a correlation with the letters of the word Octopath, just Octopath. Let's start with the first O, which is Ophelia. Now, she is the game's cleric, and as far as anyone really needs to be concerned, she's pretty much the kind-hearted magical healer that you would expect her to be. You know, as far as characters go, there's nothing wrong with her. I don't necessarily have problems with her at all. She's just there. I don't dislike her. I think she's fine. There's just nothing about her that stood out aside from her nice long blonde hair. But you know, this isn't when you go to talk about characters and their traits. That was awful. It's not all about physical traits that you want to talk about. Besides, if all we're worried about is physical traits, we'll talk about that when we get to the letter P. But I think she's pretty much a very solid, you know, middle-of-the-road character. Very useful due to her abilities, and, you know, if you're starting the game with a combat-focused character, which I highly recommend you do, just because it's probably the smartest idea, then you should definitely go out of your way to try to get her on your team. Though her focus is definitely on group healing. If all you need is single healing, well, once again, we'll talk about that when I get there. We're not at that letter yet. No, don't need that. The C in Octopath Traveler is for Cyrus. He might be one, if not he might not be my absolute favorite, but he's definitely up there. Taking so much dumb damage. He is the game's wizard, and he proves himself immediately useful combatively. I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking him as your first choice because he's about as squishy as a bathroom sponge, but he can definitely dole out plenty of damage. This is going to be your fight. He's going to be your fight winner for sure. Especially just against big mobs. Cyrus is good. I enjoy his personality too. He's one of those characters that I would describe as semi-flustered at all times. Incredibly intelligent, don't get me wrong, but he's also one of those characters that's mildly oblivious to some of his own character traits. This is just going to make this all the easier. Car battery is going to make it so that Tammy's head activates twice, and if you didn't think I was shelling out enough destruction, well, there you go. If it wasn't doomsday for this place before, it certainly is now. And Holy Mantle. Wow. The game just wants me to clear Boss Rush right now. Alright, Alright, there's the boss rush door, but first let's check the devil deal. I think we're going to take both of these. Sacrificial altar has appeared in the basement. Beautiful. Alright. Now it's time for boss rush. I don't want little monstro. Don't want bucket of lard. Don't want that. Sad bombs! Well, now you're speaking my language. So yeah, Cyrus I think is wonderful. He's just a fun character. By the way, sad bombs. What that does is every time a bomb detonates, it detonates in a circle of tears. And if you remember what I was saying about him having that base brimstone beam, it just makes everything easier. So my bombs are now a combative force to be reckoned with. They already were because of the damage that they do, but now it's even more so. I guess Lulu decided he wanted to say hello. There you go, Bird. There you go. Make your presence known, buddy. Okay, I need to stop being so reckless. Damn it. Alright, we're going to continue my thoughts in just a moment, because I am not doing as well as I would have liked. Once again, a fine example of hubris. Oh yes, let's get rid of the bloat, please. I'm more than happy to have that be the solution to the puzzle here. I probably should have gotten rid of Chub. Beautiful. Oh, I love sad bombs. Below me, Gertie. There we go. Keith has to go. I could really care less about Duke of Flies. Keith has to go. Oh, I hate both of these bosses so much. This is going to be where I take all sorts of unnecessary damage because this fucker is just an asswipe. So as you can see, even when you're quote-unquote overpowered, you still have to be kind of careful. Ow! Fucker. Oh, what the hell? You think they're gonna make Curse of Darkness even darker? Alright, War, that's nice. You wanna stop? Sweet. Alright, that's it for that. Well, neither of these are great for Azazel. Alright, well, we'll take Little Haunt and hope that that's enough. So now I put myself in kind of a bad position and I need to rebuild. Alright, where was I? Oh yeah, Cyrus. He's a fun character. He's... like I said, he's very intelligent, but has shortcomings. He's a character I can really get next to. Alright, moving on to the T, we have Tressa. The best way to describe her is young naive girl sets out to see big world. Once again, this is not an uncommon... Actually, I like that idea. This is not anything uncommon. It's a character arc we've actually probably seen 100 times or so. But once again, we're not necessarily looking for the most unique ideas here. We're looking for how well they were pulled off. And I argue that because of her personality, Tressa may be probably one of the best characters in the game. I don't know what it is about me and the really rambunctious, kind of energetic, spunky characters, but I like that archetype. And Tressa embodies that to a T. She's very anxious to set out and see the world. She's full of life and energy that a lot of the other characters kind of lack. And it's not due to like any necessary fault of their design. It's due to the idea that most of the other characters are, you know, more serious. They're warriors, they're hunters, they're hardened, they've grown up, they've seen things. Then here comes Tressa, who's, well, for lack of a better word, still learning about the world around her. Okay, it's not a word, but you get the idea. But she approaches everything with this energy, this sort of I want to do it all spunk. I love that character to death. She might be my favorite. The other O is for Ulbrich, the warrior man. So stop me if you've heard this one. He's a great warrior who's faced a slight upon his name, but is going to go out to find his honor and find out what he fights for. Yeah, he's every warrior in any RPG. I think what makes him a more interesting character for me personally has to be some of his in-battle quotes, and not necessarily all the ones that he starts off with one exception, but a lot of the ones that he uses via other characters' classes. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't want that. Just listen to him when he uses the Apothecary's Icicle ability. That cheesy "this will cool your temper" line is just too great, and if you haven't experienced it, you need to at least once. He's got a personality, it's just it doesn't come out until other factors are at work. Yeah, I need help, I'll take that. Plus more, I'm not going to get anything out of double flying this time. Oh, should have used the Joker card again. I'm an idiot. They're basically pushing it so I can make use of Rotten Penny. Alright, so, in a nutshell, Ulbrich is fine. He's definitely one of the characters you should probably start your journey with, because he is one of the two characters tied for strongest physical fighter in the game. It just makes things easier having someone who can handle combat with some ease and efficiency. Alright. As said, we wanted to talk about characters' physical traits. We're moving on to the letter P now. That's Primrose. she is the seductive dancer character. She has absolutely no qualms with her own sexuality, and oftentimes uses it to her advantage in her story, which, let's just say, is very dark. Even my bird knows what I'm talking about. Her story is dark. I'd say of all the characters, she definitely goes through some of the most shit. Oh, well, I guess I don't need this Joker card anymore. No, that's not true. I might need it. Well, we're definitely getting to the Satan fight again. Come on, come back down. Ooh, nice. Well, now everything just got like 5 times easier. I'm already having an easy time of things. Stop spoiling me, game. Personality-wise, I have no problem with Primrose. She's obviously the quote-unquote sexy one. I do feel like they could have done a bit more with her personality, but her story more than makes up for it. Basically, she spends her entire story questioning purpose. It's something you should really check out. Not necessarily my favorite character, but definitely the one who goes through the most adversity in her trials. With a couple of exceptions, like the characters that go through actual No, she goes through the most adversity. Pretty bar none. The A in Octopath Traveler stands for Alphen. He is an apothecary. He might have, for lack of a better way to put it, the stupidest story in the game. It starts off with plenty of stakes, with him having to find a medicine for his best friend's sister. And then his entire story is, I'm going to go out and try to become a better apothecary because the format of the story demands it, essentially. Like, there's really no other reason for him to go out on a journey other than that's just what he decides he wants to do, I guess? Really, that part isn't very well thought out, but now let's move on to the part that I find to be really interesting and important about the character. If I liked Tressa because she was so unlike the more serious characters, then by God, that's a reason to like Alphen too. He is so laid back and so chill about everything going on. He could not give 2 solitary fucks about anything else. He's there because he wants to travel, and he's gonna make the most of it, by God. I love him for it. If you haven't noticed a trend, well, oh sweet. Look at all these unlocks. Man, killing it. The characters that I really like are the ones that subvert expectations, and, well, both Alphen and Tressa definitely subvert expectations. One could say that Primrose subverts expectations too. I mean, she kind of has the whole stripper assassin thing going on. But it's still just your average story about overcoming adversity and seeking revenge. Alphen's biggest adversity is that he doesn't have a major place in the plot. But what he does bring to the table is his concoct skill, which gives him the ability to create concoctions, potions, items, things that have various effects. He's the game's other healer. His abilities only allow him to heal one person at a time, but through his concoct skill, he can do just about anything. My team is very rarely seen without Alphen, and for good reason. he actually is perhaps the most useful character. Not the most powerful, because most powerful goes to Cyrus, Ulbrich, and the aforementioned... well, not aforementioned, I haven't brought any attention to her yet, but our letter H at the very end. Oh, if only I can get some more red hearts. Alright, I'm gonna remember that. I want to use one. If I get a chance to rock a health up pill, then I can actually unlock a difficult achievement. So, here's hoping. The second T in Octopath stands for Therion. And I'm not gonna mince words, he might be my least favorite. As much as I love snarky characters, I think he takes it a step beyond snarky and into aloof and edgy. And my opinion on aloof and edgy characters is that they can seriously just go do one. I don't have a lot of fun with characters of that mold because I just... You know, I should have played that. I probably could have gotten my red heart from that. Oh well, mistakes were made. Moving on. As far as usefulness is concerned, well, the party's thief does exactly what you expect the thief to do, so... He does his job fine, I guess. I just really don't like that I'm an aloof loner personality. And lastly, the H. That stands for Hanit. And if you've paid attention to the game, well, you know what makes her special. First of all, she is the other character with one of the highest physical attacks. She is the huntress, so it stands to reason that she knows how to hunt things. I'm going to keep exploring the floor to extend video time, but also try to find that last red heart I need to unlock that achievement. But aside from having being one of the characters with the highest physical attack stat, she's also one of the characters that she's also the character that has the highest critical hit stat. At the cost of some defense, which one could probably imagine that Ulbrich, being what he is the party's tank. Oh no, you are not a pill. Go away. But that's not necessarily what makes Hanit memorable. What makes her memorable is the weird way in which they chose to have her do her dialogue. For lack of any better way to phrase it, it just sounds like she got lost in a medieval times and then just carried it way too far. It's equal parts awkward and hilarious. It's definitely worth checking out. Her story is nothing to write home about, as it's mostly about her trying to rescue her master/father figure from a dangerous monster. Apologies. But she does bring to the game her own brand of combat, and as I said, she's a fine character. But if I haven't made the point obvious enough yet, my favorite characters are Alphen and Tressa. I don't think it gets any better than them. Before I wrap it up, I believe we have two endings that we haven't seen. Because both of my last two runs ended up skipping the end and going to Satan. This is the experimental treatment ending. Worked beautifully. And what was the last item unlocked before I unlocked the negative. Hey, a happy ending for Isaac. Look at that. He doesn't always lose in the end. Poor guy doesn't get all the crap that he deserves. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe, help a fella out. This has been the Dark Sage. I'll be seeing you.